Cole Gordon, I appreciate you hanging out, man. It's always good to see you.
Always good. Good to see you as well.
So we met not too long ago, and in real short order, I found out that we have like a bazillion clients that overlap.
Yeah.
And that is because you seem to do a really, really good job of helping them with sales. Can you give me a little background on the company and what you do in general?
Yeah, well, we try to do a good job. So, I mean, we have two companies. At the end of the day, what we sell is sales training and sales recruiting at the end of the day. So we have two companies. The one we're really known for is called Sales Team Accelerator. The other one is called Remote Closing Academy. So those are the two companies. They're under the brand closers.io. Okay. So anyways, Sales Team Accelerator essentially helps entrepreneurs who are in the information marketing coaching space, consulting, high ticket services, agency services, really any sort of online high ticket service, to be honest. Recruit, hire, train, manage sales teams. So it's sort of a hybridized, done with you, done for you type of model to where we actually place sales reps, setters, or closers into the company. And then we provide training and resources and all of this different type of support to help them actually grow the sales team. So we work with entrepreneurs who they're maybe hiring their first sales rep. They're at 30, 40, 50K a month, and they're trying to delegate strategy sessions, sales calls for the very first time, all the way up to, multiple 9-figure companies. We work with Agora Financials, $1.5 billion company, helping them with their operational sales systems and even some recruiting and all sorts of different stuff. So that's really that end. The other end is a consumer division where we just basically take somebody who wants to get into sales. But if you're trying to get in sales and you're really trying to get a good gig, it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing because people don't want to hire you if you don't have experience. But at the same time, you can only get experience if obviously you get hired. So what we do is we have sort of an incubator program, kind of like a sales incubator, that takes them in and they work with our team directly to role play and generate the skills as much as possible needed to at least get started in an entry-level sales position in the online kind of marketing courses, coaching space, which for salespeople is a really good industry to get started in. So we have that division as well. We're not as known for that. Like we work with a lot of big brand names in the B2B division. So a lot of people know me and my brand for that, which is awesome. But, we do just as much revenue on the B2C division as well. So, and obviously, if you haven't already been able to tell, those things meld together. So right. People who get trained up on this side, they get placed over here. Not all of them. Some of them get their own positions. We teach them how to go out there and actually get their own positions so they're not dependent on us. But some of them will go over and get positions on the B2B side. And then obviously having the B2B opportunities over here helps the client success over here. So there is a network effect that does happen with both of those offers, which is pretty cool. That's like pretty rare in my industry that you have sort of these two coinciding type of companies, but it works great. And honestly, the thing is, the more they scale, the better the results have actually been. So because our distribution is so big on the B2C side, it's really actually helped our quality on the B2B side. And obviously, if the B2B side continues to scale, we have more demand in which we can ensure client success on this side. That's been pretty cool.
That's huge, man. I mean, and it's completely logical from the B2B side. So said another way, you're helping people. I mean, you said all this, but to recap, you're helping people build out their sales team in all capacities. So recruit, hire, train, get them running, ultimately so that they can hand it off, or so you can hand it off to them, they can run it themselves. Mm-hmm. And in order to do that, you've got this other side of things where you're training people to be great sales reps that don't have experience. So you've got this huge feeder program that pulls people in so that you can support the bigger clients.
Yep, 100%. And then also, people who will naysay that type of model will say something along the lines of all your people who you have coming in, they don't have any real world experience, which it is and is not true. I mean, we have people who buy the certification who have 20 years of sales experience. So that's not entirely true in and within itself. But the other thing is we have a whole nother division of our company that really does headhunting. So it's basically going after people who already have existing sales experience in this actual industry. And we just place them without the certification. Now they have to have like real experience and be really good. They can't just be like some random person. But if for somebody who maybe, they've been selling for 4 or 5 years in high ticket, they have a demonstrated track record, they're doing, 10, 20, 30 units a month at 10K. So they're pulling a couple million for their company. That person will allow to bypass the certification right into a position. So a lot of the top tier positions get staffed through that, but then the bulk of mid to entry level is from the certification. And then those people, eventually they get their experience and they can go up. So we do both headhunting and the certification, which I do find doing just one or just the other, it just hasn't ever been enough. Because when we started, that's what we did. We did just the headhunting for over a year, and then we started doing the certification. So,
I love this.
Yeah,
doing I want to talk about that.
Fill all the positions.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's also I want to talk about that because the recruiting for those two different roles can be different, and what you're looking for certainly is different. So I want to talk about recruiting and training, but before we do, can you just give some framework for size and scope of the company? How old are you? How big is it? Whatever metrics you want to give.
Yeah, so we started in 2019. Last month we did about 2.5 million. We've been a little bit plateaued there for a while, so we're pacing 30 million for this year. We should finish over that based on our growth rate. So about 2.5 million a month. And it's really split almost exactly evenly between both companies, both divisions. In terms of employees, we have, I don't know, I never know the exact number, but I mean, we had a team-wide meeting yesterday and we had like 71 people on there. So probably about 75 if, maybe some people were out and couldn't attend that meeting. So yeah, we're getting close to the big 100 number. Hopefully we'll finish this year 40 million. I would say it would be good just based on how we started off and where we're going. And I think I answered your first question, but we started in late 2019. So.
Awesome. And you were going exactly where I wanted you to, which was in the beginning, you were doing things differently than you are now. But in the beginning, you were doing the headhunting thing. So can you tell me just like what your approach is to doing the headhunting? Because that's honestly, look, you can hire recruiters to do it, but recruiters are doing the same thing that you could be doing if you just had the system and the people to do it. So how did you approach that in the beginning, and has it changed over time?
Yeah, so I mean, and this is specific towards like how we go out and find existing sales reps that are good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So essentially, here's the way to think about it, right? And I got to speak it in marketing terms. So in marketing, essentially, if you want to have a really great marketing campaign, it's always based on a really great offer, right? Like the best offer in the marketplace wins to any sort of market segment. So you got to understand recruiting is a very, very similar aspect, right? Like there's a marketplace of these sales reps out there, and the best ones are going to gravitate towards the best offers. And I'm not saying the best offers in terms of what they're selling, which is true, but even more like the best offer for the actual candidate, right? So a lot of the game in recruiting, to be honest, is just creating the best offer for the candidate, and there's a myriad of different ways you can do that. So for me, it's a really, I wish we could say, we have this extremely unique outreach system there where we do all of this unique stuff. I wish we could say that, and we do a lot of outreach, but the main thing is, in high ticket sales, we have I and our company have an excellent brand, right? So we're very known in that industry. Like one of my clients says, I'm your high ticket closer's favorite high ticket closer. So right away, we're known. And then on top of that, we're also known that if you're a sales rep and you actually have legitimate experience, we will place you in a position that's completely vetted. So with high ticket sales, as kind of an aside, a big frustration these sales reps have, and I know this because I was a sales rep, is that you get these entrepreneurs who overpromise the opportunity and underdeliver, right? Same way as you do with clients. They overpromise, underdeliver. Sure. And so what that looks like is they talk about all the leads they're going to give them. They talk about, the unlimited income potential with the comp structure. They talk about, all of these things, and then they get there. There's not a lot of opportunity. There's not a lot of leads. There's not a lot of training and resources, et cetera. So, with what we're known for to these sales reps is that we actually pre-vet the opportunities before we present them to them. So we won't even take on a B2B client unless we feel like they have a great opportunity. So that's number one. That means great offer, great lead flow, great client results, all of that stuff. And then once they get onboarded, they get access to all of my training for free, right? So but essentially the B2B companies buy a license to the training, and these sales reps, if they're actually experienced, get to be a part of one of the best sales environments in this industry for no charge. If they're good. Again, I keep throwing in that caveat of experience there. If they're good. So because of that, our word of mouth and brand and just how we're known in the marketplace to these, like every really truly good sales rep in the market, at least in our market, knows who we are, right? And the reason for that and the reason we can attract such good ones is because of what the offer is at the end of the day. They're going to get on a great offer with great income potential based on their experience. That could be $30,000 a month income potential, or if they're a little bit newer, maybe it's $5,000 to $10,000 a month. So we're going to pre-vet the offers for them. It's a great offer, and they get massive amounts of training. So because we have an amazing offer for these sales reps, that's the biggest thing that helps us recruit them, if that makes sense. It's not necessarily that we have this crazy outreach method or that we're running on this, secret advertising platform that nobody knows about, or we found this gold mine of reps. It's more that it's the offer you make to the reps. The same way if you want to win in marketing, it's the offer you make to the clients. So how we actually find them on the headhunting, again, we do some outreach on social and on LinkedIn and all of that stuff. We also just run a tremendous amount of volume. I would say the biggest reason most people don't really hire great in general, especially hire great in sales teams, is they don't have the volume of applications, volume of interviews, volume of final candidates. Like they're just not filling the funnel, right? They're busy entrepreneurs. They're on the phones. They're like, dude, I got to get off these sales calls. We're so busy. We're so strapped. I mean, that's how every entrepreneur is almost. So they rush they might do 4 or 5 interviews, just hire the best 2, and then they just let them go, right? Whereas like, a lot of times, I don't even know these metrics off the top of my head anymore, but our recruiting director would know. I think about to get 1 hire, you need about 10 interviews. 10 interviews should get you 3 finalists. And usually the conversion rate from the interviews, you're probably going to need about 50 to 75 applications, right? So you need 50 to 70, and these are legitimate people. This is not $10 a day on Indeed. Oh my God, I got 75 applications. I mean, I'm talking like really good candidates, okay? People actually in the industry. So long story short, you need to really fill the top of the funnel to get down. So a lot of it's volume. Like we had, we'll get 2,000, about 2,500 to 3,000 applications just to get 100 people hired on behalf of our clients.
Right. Okay. So let me pause you for a second because I have 75 questions for you.
Okay.
The first one, and I want to get into how to get the volume, but the first one is I love that you said you said repeatedly in a lot of ways, have a better offer and more people will buy it. And years ago, I remember hearing Ryan Dice say, people ask me how I can get more traffic. And he said, just go to the traffic store and buy it. So there's no problem with traffic. Google and Facebook just give you traffic. The issue is that you don't have a good offer. If you have a good offer, you can buy the traffic for it. And the same thing I think is very true when you're looking for good applicants. The question for me is, before we get into actually how to fill the top of the funnel, I want to know what you did differently in the first year, because you repeatedly say, hey, I've got a good